numbers. Total revenue for June was $309,702.38. Total expenditures for July was $1,536,018.47. Direct deposit payroll $359,559.27. Payroll taxes $80,559.34. Benefits vouchers $291,760.76. Monthly expenditure vouchers $98,585.74. Capital projects $4,891.50. Capital projects apparatus $700,681.86, and that was for aid car final payment and
The last 5% for both aid cars. That's 5% plus tax on both aid cars and an engine.
Right.
Plus tax.
Yeah, it's tax. That's a lot of money for the fire district. Anybody else have any questions, comments about the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports. Mr. Crawford?
So the 911 board meetings are ongoing. There was really no change. I'm still looking at if there's going to be a co-location consolidation. So that's just ongoing. We have another meeting in 2 weeks. So we have minutes if you like. I did go to the all county commissioners meeting last night. The gentleman from the state was there and stated that the Tulalip convention will have certain topics from PTSD to cyber stalking to bid laws that are in effect and things like that for the convention that's coming up in October. I think it's October.
This is the fire commission.
Yeah. And there was some talk about the House bill and how it's going to affect fire districts. The House Bill 1310, which limits the use of law enforcement on our mental calls, and how we're going to address those. Mike Kelly came out and said that they were going to be talking at chief's office meetings today about how the county's going to respond to those and what the city has done. The city's put together a CRT team, community response team, which consists of an EMT and a social worker in a suburban type vehicle where they'll be responding to their calls. So the county may or may not be doing something similar. I know Sean went to the meeting this morning and may have more information about that. But we tackled that, and we also talked about the 911 issue that's ongoing at the county commissioner meetings.
Okay. Sean, do you have anything to add?
Just that the county is actually, there was a support in the operations side of things to move forward with a CRT type team
For the county.
which would include a firefighter, a fire captain, an officer, and a public assistant. And the logistics and that haven't even begun to start, but right now from the operations side of things, it's looking forward on it to start the progress or project.
So is this like currently in effect? They are not responding?
It takes effect July 25th. However, the city and the county have seen incidents where it's already taken. Basically, this was instituted in May, and some of the county sergeants and city sergeants have already put it into motion that if it deals with a mental type issue, then the fire department's going to get the short end of the stick and act.
I mean, I have a little more to that. The problem that we're facing right now is a mental health person. We go see them in the field. We call the hospital, and the hospital says, we don't want them there. They don't need to be here. They need a mental health evaluation. And you go to the crisis center, which is over in Irongate, and they can't handle somebody that has an agitated mental state. So right now it's really a catch-22 because the jail doesn't want them, the hospital doesn't want them, and the critical care or critical crisis facility can't take them right now because they don't have the people trained to deal with a higher level of mental health issues. And so this is a big one, not just for law enforcement, but for every agency in the county to have to deal with. It's going to have to be dealt with. So.
What we're seeing, what we're hearing from our crews and seeing from our crews is that Bellingham Police have 100% backed off from doing sheriff's departments a little bit more case by case basis. But we are seeing an increased risk to our personnel based on what kind of calls they're responding to. A lot more unknown welfare checks, which is not 4 months ago, was not even a call for us. That's a concern.
There was talk last night, there's gonna be a change in dispatch for run cards and the way the response is put out. Basically, if it comes to the fire department, that the police are not responding, or police have basically decided that this is a mental issue, that it will go to the fire department, and they will put it out as a police, not a known type of response. That's gonna be included that may or may not need law enforcement.
So if one of our units gets on a call like this accidentally, and they request police backup, they'll respond.
They will. They will have to best for this make their case to the dispatcher, then relays it over to law enforcement, and then sergeant or supervisor will determine what kind of response it gets. I've personally never seen a delay in a need to get help.
Right.
And I think that's going to continue. I can't imagine that would continue. But typically, if it's not clear what the need for law enforcement is, there is, just like a 911 call, that if there is a question, they're going to go through to determine is law enforcement truly needed.
They're looking for that intimate.
Right. Anyone else? I'll cover ours under the levy. Today. Legal issues, I didn't see any or hear of any. Local 106 report.
Currently, the biggest thing we are working on is the levy and just getting it passed and promoting it. Get the signs are almost all out. There's a few left went out today. We have an ad coming in Northern Light here soon, and discussion of doing like the door knocking. We're still looking into what the guidelines are for that with COVID, and then also talk about doing some flag, waving on the sides of the roads a couple days prior to the vote. The pamphlets have come out. They look good. So that's just our main concern now is getting the levy to pass.
Appreciate your help on that. Unfinished business, levy lid lift. Chief Vanderveen and I just left the meeting with the Birch Bay Chamber, which the chief gave a very nice presentation. It was interesting to me, the number of questions that we got, not about the levy and the cost, but what we do. How many people are at Birch Bay Station? How many rigs are there? What happens if the train comes? I mean, all kinds of operational type questions and concerns versus we can't afford that. I'm not going to go. It was interesting. So, Chief, I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Just overall, the levy lift education. It's crunch time. We've been redoubling our efforts, getting the word out to the community as far as what they're going to see on their ballot and making that justification. We've had several meetings with different groups. Heather Logan's here to talk about some of the things that we've done. And also, for the RCW, we have one mailer we're allowed to send out, and I believe Heather's going to talk about that, kind of the timing of that today. as well as just supporting or asking, answering questions that folks have about the lid lift. And it was interesting very much for them to have someone from the fire service kind of right there where they could ask, why do you take an engine to an aid call? Those were some of the questions we got. When we talked about how much a fire engine costs, there was some
Big
audible
eyeballs.
gasps, right? Then we went to the ladder truck. So, and why we have to have a ladder truck, that it's it's a requirement by a external agency that requires us to have things like ladder trucks to keep people's insurance rates reasonable. So I think it was very interesting for them to hear why we do the things we do. So it's definitely good to be out in the community again, seeing people face to face. So, Heather, do you want to add anything to?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, commissioners. So Whatcom County is right on top of it. The voter's guide has dropped and the ballots have been mailed. So it's out there. Our mailer, which is a 6x9 two-sided piece, was scheduled to be to the post office yesterday. Today seems a little optimistic for them to hit mailboxes, but definitely by tomorrow. And we mailed one to all 13,231 registered voters in District 21. So there should be plenty of information starting probably tomorrow. Other sources of information for the voters, of course, the webpage has an entire levy lid lift page, including FAQs. The Facebook page is being kept up to date just yesterday or maybe early today. The info card went up on the Facebook page for people looking for information. The info card is available. If you don't have some, get some. You should be passing them out to everyone. This is not the time to be shy, boys and girls. This is the time to be moving those info cards around. The reader board has information, as always, education, not advocacy. Simply please vote, not vote yes or no. And then, of course, we sent out the ads for the public outreach, the first of which is this afternoon at 3. So I will be very curious to see how big the crowd is. And the topic was the RFA. We were averaging 14 at those meetings, but now that we're asking for money, I'll be curious to see how many people turn up today at 3. I am happy to answer any questions at all about outreach and education. What's on your mind?
Anyone have any questions? From the audience.
Yeah, you have cards that, can I have a bunch and I'll put them in the, I'll do the, give me a bunch and I'll put them in the businesses around. Businesses in Birch Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You came to the right place.
There's a reason I'm here today, I guess.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Heather. We appreciate all of the work you have done in keeping us on track and making sure that we get as much exposure as possible. So
It's my pleasure.
all right. So there's one other issue about the levy lift. If for some reason we're unsuccessful on August 3rd, we will need to put another ballot measure together for the November election. And the deadline for submittal of that proposal is August 3rd. So we have to submit before we even know the results of the existing election. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to ask for anybody who is interested in writing a pro or a con statement for a potential November levy lid lift ballot measure. Hopefully we won't need it, but we need to be prepared. And I understand that we have reached out to our former pro committee and they are ready, willing, and able to assist us if needed. That deadline, I believe, is August 9th to get that statement in. So there would be no need to write it before August 3rd. But if things don't work out, then we'd certainly like you to get rolling on August 4th to get it in by the 9th. But, and if there's anyone out there who is interested in writing a con statement, we would be happy to hear from them.
And just, yes, Ken.
I just had a question.
Right.
Just, go ahead.
Okay.
It came and it went.
Hi.
And just so the board knows, it's also been released as that the request for pro-con statements has been released as a press release to the press, to our usual media partners, as well as posted on our website. So we've met the 3 requirements for outreach for the pro-con committee at this point. So we're all set for that.
Very good.
I remembered it.
All right.
You had a meeting with people who gave you some interesting questions.
Yes.
Can you, not now, but can you kind of write up some of the major questions and we can,
Yes. Yep. Put them in the.
put them in there,
See if we
let's
can
make
work
it
some of those.
completely different, well, or almost completely different. Let's address it at real issues
Okay.
this time around.
Yep. Absolutely. I will do that.
Facilities is our next issue, and I'll lead off the discussion with, I have asked the board and reached out to the local for a totally volunteer effort to go to the Simiamu station and do some little cleanup. We did receive a call from a concerned citizen about a month ago about the condition of the grounds there, and I just thought this would be a great opportunity to go and show the community that we intend to use that station if we get the funds to put an 8-car there. So totally volunteer. I've heard from most of the board that will be there, and we're gonna do what we can. I know that the chief has got a bid from a maintenance committee or organization, but they're busy right now. They can't get there. So this is kind of a stopgap measure to trim a few things. I would like to point out that one of our crews went up there voluntarily a few days ago, 2 days ago. Their efforts were super appreciated. I drove through there and we need a 10-yard dumpster to pick up the amount of trimmings that they did there. So Chief, if you could mention the names of that crew, I certainly would give my heartfelt thanks to them for all the work that they did there.
Sure. I know it was Captain Aaron Holtz, Troy Freeman, Evan Mack. We're looking at the past schedule.
Captain Aaron Holtz, Kevin Mack, Troy Freeman on Tuesday, and then Captain Aaron Holtz went up with his crew again. The next day it was Captain Aaron Holtz, Ronald Green, and Caleb Brook. Those two, that crew went up twice.
Unbelievable the amount of work that they did.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and my understanding is you won't have to be hauling all that stuff to the dump. Our contracted group is going to do that for us as part of their bid. So my understanding is the bid they gave us will be reduced by the amount of work that we're going to accomplish, but they will haul off all of it. They're going to haul debris, so we'll just make a big pile.
I got a question or a call from Kim Smith. We're going to be cleaning out the gutters.
Yes.
Yes.
We can bring, we don't need 24s, but if we had a step ladder or two, that would be
do the lower. The lower.
I've got a couple others.
Yeah, I've got one of those schools, they're the ones that.
Want to bring it?
No, I don't want anybody that. I don't care.
Well, he's a retired trial firefighter. He knows.
No, we'll stay close to the ground. We are sort of governed by certain rules, as I put in my notice, that we can do routine maintenance, but we can't get really into, construction and tear down and stuff. So we will be very careful as to what exactly we do and don't do. And hopefully we'll have a safety officer on this thing. So, Chief, I probably stole your thunder on the facilities update, but maybe you could fill in those blanks on.
That's 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'll turn
9 o'clock Saturday. Simeon.
Chief Ward, actually, I'll let him take credit for what he's been doing on trying to coordinate facilities amongst a exploding construction season. It's a little hard to get contractors, as you and I have discussed, but
Trying to get painters. We're still trying to get one more bid, so we've got 2 outstanding bids right now for painting the bay doors. We finally got our 3rd bid from Smith Mechanical on the HVAC at Station 63. We've got 2 vendors that are coming out to have their electricians look at the facility to make sure that it's they're not having to add another box or what the overall cost will be for the electrician to do their work. All the bids have come in relatively close, but they're all excluding electrical. And I don't want to have a weed thrown at us at the last minute that we've got a $10,000 electrical bill when we didn't know it was coming, and I'd rather have some sort of plan for it. So I asked both companies to do a worst case scenario bid for us, and we can adjust from there. Just because that building is so old that who knows what is right and what's wrong. So
Beat the squirrels.
and up on the roof and the squirrel keep.
Did we make contact? I had that other number. Were we able to make contact?
Yeah, he gave me the information and I left him a message. He hasn't got back to me yet.
Okay. Very good. We kind of covered the law enforcement response. Chief, do you have any other thoughts?
I don't have anything more than was already discussed.
Okay. All right. Mental health is a huge problem around the country and how we deal with it, and we've neglected it. And I certainly don't want to see our personnel put in danger because of this change. So hopefully this is addressed by the chiefs in general and the county-wide, and not just every district saying, oh yeah, we're gonna go, we're not gonna go, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll stay outside, we'll go inside. I think we're setting ourselves up for failure if we don't have a coordinated effort. Former police person.
I would say, I hope that all the personnel know they're not required to go in if it looks bad. Don't engage yourself, or because whether you agree with the law or not, you don't put yourself in danger.
That's my biggest fear on just having the crews respond to a welfare call that got sent over from police, is that we are unfortunately preconditioned to go in on everything and help. It's going to take some time to unwind that default switch that we all have. So the thought is, if Sean or I is pre-screening, it's taking us some more time to triage things, that maybe it will prevent that, potential for us to walk into a bad situation.
In that frustration level that we feel that the fire, you probably back to 10 or back to 1 person.
Oh, I'm
who spend their whole career wanting to go in and fix things, and now they're told they can't.
Right.
And they'll, likely get in trouble if they do it, so it's the result of a poorly written law.
Agreed.
All right. New business, anything new? Keep track of everything, policies and procedures, nothing that we need to see. Correspondence was in our packet. Is there anything in there noteworthy that I think I want to skip over something?
It's the burn ban and then the ads that we're sending out. So a copy of the mailer. The letter to the editor from Cheryl Whitesides.
Yeah.
Who's putting the signs out, burn ban or that?
That's a good question. I saw one of those the other day. I don't know who did it, but
I like it. It's a reminder.
Golden lemonade. Since we're on public record.
Okay.
And so the beach fires that are going on in Birch Bay are illegal right now?
Technically.
All right. I hate to call 911. Just go down and kick sand in somebody's face. All right.
I saw the engine down there and I guess they rolled the log into the water.
Okay. All right. Next meeting is the 19th. Everybody okay for that day?
Don't think I'll be around anything.
Okay.
Should be able to.
We have this new baby.
I should get reached.
Oh,
But I'll keep it in mind.
okay, all right. Scott, you okay on the 19th?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Kimberly, how are you for the 19th?
I'm available.
Okay, thank you. Next meeting. We've got our tabled agenda items. I guess we can discuss what happened at the election, right?
Yes.
Post-election report. And facilities update, and I suppose we should keep this law enforcement response on going and see where it ends up. We need to sign documents for the first time in person for a long, long time. We don't have to do the run around the county or come in and do that. Is there anything else I'm missing here before we adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Meeting is adjourned at 2:04 p.m. Thank you, everyone. And we can live feed. Thank you, Heather.